This guy is a chess legend, and while he needs no introduction, we're gonna go ahead and give you one anyway. This is Garry Kasparov, achieving his first world champion title in 1985 and then going on to win 7 more, making this guy a chess legend. But with every legend, there's a villain. This is Rey Enigma. Rey Enigma was first introduced to the internet on Brazil's Got Talent. Identity and rating both unknown, and people love him. He's even played against some popular opponents. And if you hadn't noticed, or perhaps you're blind, he dresses up as a chessboard, but he lives up to its name. His skills are about to be put to the test against the legend that we mentioned earlier. As always, every game begins with a handshake. Rey begins the game with the queen's pawn opening, to which Kasparov responds with f6 knight. And I think it's safe to say that they know this opening very well from the speed they're playing. Rey also had the option to take bishops and weaken black's pawn structure. However, that would have caused Rey to have e4 lost. And it wasn't until a few moves later till Rey became the first to take a piece, taking the knight in the middle of the board. Big mistake. Kasparov ends up a pawn after this exchange. So of course Kasparov did win the outcome of this trade, and even though it was just a pawn, keep in mind that this is a grandmaster here. Whatever you and I can accomplish with a queen, these two can most likely do with maybe 2 pawns. So now our chess legends up an entire pawn. One of these two run out of time later. Let's see if you can predict it in the comments. Here's where Kasparov really took control of this game. You see, this pawn move forces the knight to move to that square. And what seems like almost instantly, Kasparov slides his rook to attack the knight as well. Which puts the unidentified Rey in quite a tough position, because in this position, he's forced to play knight takes bishop. Kasparov obviously takes back, and then Rey has the absurd move of h5 with the queen, looking to cause some trouble for black. And after we see Kasparov play queen to e5, we finally see white's plan, looking to set up a tricky mate on black. Then a pair of rooks are traded. After the trade of rooks, it looks like black has a weak pawn on d5, leaving a potential backmate threat. h6 attacks white's queen, and then rook to c8 attacks white's weak pawn on the queen side, leaving Rey with no option but to go back with his queen. Garry then takes full advantage of Rey's wasted move protecting the c2 pawn and advances one of his own pawns. Then after Rey plays d4 with the rook, Garry actually finds the best possible move in the situation, which was pawn to f4. Which may seem like nothing to others, but this actually breaks down the central command of the pawns on white's side. After the 2 pawns are traded, Garry then comes in with a very tricky move with the queen to g3, actually attacking the undefended h4 pawn. However, this turned out to be a huge mistake for Garry, because after Rey moves to h5, black is looking to lose a pawn on the d file. Garry then moves his rook to d8, to which I believe he was hoping Rey would take so that he would leave the pawn undefended. However, Rey's best move, to which he missed, possibly because he was low on time, would be to sacrifice the rook on e4 and then taking the other rook with check. Unfortunately for Rey, he played the move c4. And then after the trade of pawns, it looks like Kasparov has a nasty backmate threat on Rey. Rey then pulls his queen back to c1, hoping to stop the infiltration of Garry. However, he plays the move anyway, and by doing so, Garry's gonna go ahead and give a check on e3, winning the rook right back and a pawn. It's almost equivalent to when the McDonald's worker gives you an extra nugget in your meal. However, Rey is still very viable in this position. After giving a check with his king, he pulls back with his queen and attacks the f7 pawn. But that's a mistake, because now Garry has 2 connected passed pawns. Rey's only hope of not losing now is to draw. Same way he did against Karpov, who was former world champion as well. Fast forward just a couple moves and we see the game-deciding move, Kasparov's queen to d6. Rey's response to the threat was to give perpetual checks in hoping for some sort of draw to appear on the table. However, soon enough, the checks seemed to run out against Kasparov, and now it seems like his pawns are prepared to move after the check. Rey does win a5, but Kasparov's 2 pawns have advanced too far. Rey then acknowledges the fact that Kasparov is 100% promoting to a queen and attempts to promote one of his own as well. However, one of Kasparov's promotion comes with an attack on the queen as well, forcing Rey to take this move to check the king. Garry then becomes the first to successfully promote a pawn to a queen, and then Rey promotes to a queen, providing with a check on the king. Rey then, in a completely lost position, unfortunately runs out of time so that we could not have seen the endgame. And Kasparov shows us why he was world champ 7 times.